I'd like to call this meeting of the West Valley Water District Board of Directors to order. Can we conduct the roll call, please?
Yes, President. Director Bennett,
Present.
Director Jenkins,
Present.
Vice President Garcia,
Present.
President Moore,
Present.
and then I had gotten word at about 5:30 this evening that Director Young will not be attending in person and maybe possibly zooming in.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
We
So
have-
just for the record, because Director Young we don't have his location posted, and it's not one of the just cause reasons for having him join the meeting, he cannot just join for the closed session. So I'll let him know prior to going into closed session.
Okay. Okay.
President, we have a quorum.
All right. Anybody for remote on there? Nope. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and have Director Garcia lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have someone on the line from Pastors United or a church? Who do I see up there? Brother Vernell Townsend?
Yes, sir.
All right, sir.
All right, let us pray. Father God, thank you. Thank you for this day. Thank you for all the blessings of life, Father. We just come to you right now, just asking that you be with each and every person that is represented in this room regarding the West Valley Water District, Father. We ask that you just give them just discernment and all of the choices that they're making, Father, as it benefits those that are in our specific area, Father. We ask that you be with their families, each and every one, Father. Protect them from any hurt, harm, or danger. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay. All right. This time we're going to go into closed session. to open back in session, right? Okay, we're gonna go back into open session.
So, yes, Mr. President, Director Young would like to exercise one of his just cause rationales for participating in this meeting via remote participation without it having previously been posted on the agenda. So in order to do so, Director Young will need to join this open session Zoom so that we can go through the questions and protocols to then add them to the meeting. And so he said he was going to, he's in the process right now logging on. Oh, there he is.
Hello.
So at this point, Director Young, can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Yes. So we'll go back to the item 3, the approval of any board member requests for remote participation in the board meeting. So at this point, Director Young, of the just cause rationales, which one would you like to use tonight for this remote participation?
Illness.
Okay. So it'll be, for the record, noted that Director Young can participate. If he wishes to participate in the open session after the closed session, it'll be audio and visual. And for the closed session, just to note for the record that since that is a closed session, he can zoom into the separate Zoom closed number for the closed session. So at this point, with that noted for the record that he's participating, Director Young is participating on one of his 2 just causes for the year. We will now go back into closed session and have him join us on the Zoom closed session.
Thank you.
So now we can go back into closed session.
Go into closed session. Okay, we'll go back into open session.
Yes, we met in closed session under 54956.8 of the Government Code, comments with real property negotiators. There was a direction given to the negotiator, but no reportable action. And I'll note for the record that Director Young was in the closed session and is now back in the open session Zoom under the just cause rationale. Thank you.
Okay. Board Secretary?
For public comment,
Yes, ma'am.
We're a motion to adopt the agenda.
Yeah, we have a motion. Can we have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
Second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Director Bennett,
Yes.
Director Jenkins,
Yes.
Director Young,
Yes.
Vice President Garcia,
Yes.
President Moore.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay.
And then for public comment,
Yes.
we do not have any public comment at this time, or we've not received any.
Okay. Okay, we have a presentation.
I'm sorry, just to know for the record, there's no one in the audience that wishes to make public comment. And I don't believe we'll ask for anybody on the Zoom who wants to make public comment. If there are none, then we can dispense with the disclosures.
Okay, public comment is closed. John?
Thank you, Mr. President. If we could load the PowerPoint, please. But tonight I have an update on the 2025 work plan goals. And I'm really so pleased and honored to provide the board with this presentation today. It's an assessment of the 2025 work plan goals developed and implemented by all of our staff, all towards achievement of the strategic plan and the district's overall mission as directed and resourced by our board as representatives of all our customers in the communities we serve. So with that, I'll proceed with the presentation. First, just a brief overview of the strategic planning process. Includes a vision statement, mission statement, core values, and identifying strategic goals and objectives. And the board met and approved these back in early 2024. And with those, staff worked together to develop work plan goals to make all the above a reality. So real quick, the vision, West Valley will be a model for innovation, sustainability, with a commitment to our growing communities and our employees. Mission, provide our community with high quality and reliable water service in a cost-effective and sustainable manner. The board identified core values, public trust and integrity, being a phenomenal regional partner, providing a preferred workplace, being innovative, and providing long-term sustainable operations. The board then agreed on these 8 strategic goals. Manage, deliver safe, reliable, sustainable water supply, be an exemplary employer, effective communication and advocacy practices, strengthen partnerships with outside agencies, apply sound planning, innovation, and best practices, demonstrate effective financial stewardship, achieve health, safety, and regulatory compliance, and deliver superior customer service. Then the board, for each one of these 8 strategic goals, developed a number of objectives for each one. For example, for the first strategic goal, the board agreed on these 5 objectives. For example, increase system capacity, address aging infrastructure, provide effective source water treatment, a resilient water supply, and operational continuity. If you look over the strategic plan, about 5 objectives were identified by the board for each of the strategic goals, 40 in total. So building on this, work plan goals were developed for each of the 40 objectives. They were developed as a team with all of our department heads, and typically 4 to 6 work plan goals were identified for each objective. In all, 195 work plan goals we've been working on all of last year. These are SMART goals. They include detailed projects and programs at the department level. The lead person is identified and accountable for progress. 195, actually that's down from 236 that we were working on in 2024. The reduction due to items and goals that were completed or deleted or consolidated, but we also added a number of new goals. But in all, we were working on 195 last year. SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time-bound. They're developed for completion over a 12-month calendar year. And certainly we have longer-term goals, but we partition these to try to achieve them in a 12-month period in segments. So Kara has provided you with 11 by 17 of our 2025 work plan goals assessment. So you have the copies of all this and all the detail that I just talked about. I'm going to, just as an example, look at this, the first strategic goal, and then the 5 objectives that were developed. And for example, for that first objective, increase system capacity for anticipated growth, staff then developed these work plan goals. The Reservoir 8-3 project, the Lord Ranch projects, Pump Station 7-2 project, and the Water System Master Plan. We did this for all 195 work plan goals. They're organized under the strategic goal and objective, and the lead department is identified. Again, these are developed for achievement in a 12-month period, a calendar year, with mid-year and end-of-year assessments and reporting out to the board as I'm doing here today. An ongoing process to revise, update, advance, and implement new sets of 12-month work plan goals each year in an ongoing process, and maintain a work plan goal tracking spreadsheet throughout. And you have a copy of that year-end spreadsheet in front of you here today. So I have one slide for each of these strategic goals. So I have 8 slides. They're all going to look a little bit like this. As an example, we're looking at that first strategic goal, sustainable water supply. And we make an assessment, in this case, at the end of the year. And if you look on the left, here's how the scores are developed. Basically, a 0 is not started, 1 is some progress, 2 is good progress, 3 is excellent progress, 4 is complete or nearly complete. So we talked about this last time a little bit. Some of the scoring is a bit subjective. You know, what's a 2, what's a 3? Certainly a 0 and 4 are pretty clear. But again, we're looking to develop goals that are reasonably achievable in a 12-month period. So really, we're looking to get to a 3 and a 4 for pretty much everything. For me, a 0, a 1, or a 2 means we need to take another look at that goal, look at the priorities relative to other goals, and either replace that with a better goal or a different goal, or put a lot more resources on it to make it a reality. So as we start building our new goals for 2026, I think we are looking for a little more information on what does good progress mean for a particular goal. So that is something we're going to be focusing on more this year. So for this first strategic goal, we had 30 work plan goals. You can see the progress shown on the graph on the right, and some highlights from last year. The Lord Ranch projects are under construction. Bloomington 3C waterline is under construction. We replaced 2 chlorine buildings, completed a fire hydrant retrofit project, completed blending permits for 6 wells, and completed 4 Trident filter rehabilitations. Moving on to the second strategic goal, be an exemplary employer. You can see the achievement status on the graph on the right. Some highlights include expanding our employee development program and career development planning, expanding our employee recognition program. This includes Employee of the Month, Employee of the Year, and Team of the Year awards, and I'll more of that under GM reports tonight. We expanded our cross-training program with 13 participants last year, and we developed and expanded the 1,000-hour worker program and completed the headquarters facilities master plan. Moving on to the third strategic goal, develop and grow effective communication and advocacy practices. A lot of work plan goals under this item, 36, and as you can see on the graph, a lot of fantastic progress. Some of the highlights are expanding social media presence, increased participation in community events. We initiated the water use efficiency master plan, getting ready for that, making conservation a way of life in California. We expanded our educational outreach program with schools and local high schools, grade schools, and even colleges. Really tremendous outreach in support of Prop 218. This was certainly a year-long effort. We started before 2025. That ended in ultimately December of last year. I think a fantastic outreach program, and the Prop 218 effort, I think, really couldn't have gone better. And finally, effective legislative platform and advocacy program. A lot of results from this last year. Most recently, we're seeing nearly 1.1 million coming out of the community appropriations funding from Congressman Aguilar's office. Moving on to strategic goal 4, strengthen partnerships with outside agencies. 19 work plan goals under this item. Really excellent progress in this area, including collaborating with a regional grants consortium in the Inland Empire, leadership in the Rialto Basin Groundwater Management Plan, the Basin Technical Advisory Committee, and the Cactus Basins Technical Advisory Group. Active engagement with Bloomington MAC, a lot of visits and tours with elected officials, which has been so impressive and effective. And leadership with ERNI, the Emergency Response Network of the Inland Empire. We just hosted this group here earlier, well, in January, facilitating improved communications and best practices. Moving on to strategic goal 5, apply sound planning, innovation, and best practices. 22 work plan goals, kind of a pretty good spread of results. I think we're seeing some 1s and 2s in here, indicating that these probably need some more, another look and more energy coming up this year. But highlights in this area included expanding the district's backup power capabilities with new gensets. We implemented a new online process for health benefits enrollment with the EASE portal. The new water master plan is nearing completion. We're continuing to evaluate and assess new water technologies and leak detection technologies with Iowa Utilities and our other regional partners. We completed an update of the district's engineering standards and made that available online. And we were recognized by the Government Finance Officers Association and awarded the Triple Crown again. Congratulations. Strategic Goal 6, implement effective financial stewardship. 12 work plan goals under here, and really excellent progress, including implementing an effective grants program. We saw a lot of grants being approved for the SCADA master plan, for gen sets, and for water line installations, and for EV, for our dump truck, electrical dump truck. We just received a grant for that as well. So other grants are in the hopper, a large grant for the automated meter infrastructure project, but overall a very effective grants program, really sourced in-house. We're working with our partners, we're working with our lobbyists to expand the effectiveness of this program. We also launched the iPay Smart billing platform, a lot of savings coming our way by doing that. We completed our first ever sponsorships policy and are implementing that. Again, completed the water rate study, almost is a year-long effort, and really, I think, an impressive Prop 218 effort overall. And developed and implemented a staffing resource assessment project. This is a first ever at the district, using a business case evaluation methodology. This is used to kind of review, assess, and ultimately, with board approval, source the new GIS technician position. 2 more to go. Strategic Goal 7, achieve health, safety, and regulatory compliance. 23 work plan goals. You can see the array of results here. Again, I think we have some lagging indicators that we need to take a look at and perhaps give that more energy in this year. Highlights in 2025 included a completed water loss audit. And this is, again, a big one: compliance with state permits and all water quality regulations. This is one of 195 work plan goals, but this is certainly, if not the most important, one of the most important ones on here, and makes a massive, this is kind of why we're in business, a core of what we do, and ultimately extremely important for the district and all of our customers. Joanne's team also developed a new cross-connection control program, and we're implementing that today. Completed internet access to a lot of different HR resources on one page in one location for all staff to utilize. And again, initiated the water use efficiency master plan. Finally, number 8, deliver superior customer service. Last but not least, and perhaps I think first actually, superior customer service. So this one has a lot of varying, some work plan goals were achieved, and some work plan goals need, I think, quite a bit more work. So there's definitely some on here that we've identified to put a lot more energy into this year. Some highlights for 2025. We've started to look at the new customer process and really streamlining that process. We've had some success in 2025, but really looking to finish this off in 2026 and have a brand new process for new customers joining the district. We did complete the customer services in support of the Prop 218 and greatly improved our Public Records Act processes in providing web access to forms, et cetera, and overall a really effective response to the public records requests. Finally, extremely effective internal and external communication and key messaging, and our POGA team received some regional and state awards in this area, so great work on that. So overall status across 195 work plan goals. We made some progress on all of them, and on 7, just some progress. 22, good progress, but to me that indicates an issue. We need to get more energy into those. But we're seeing 85% are seeing excellent progress or complete or nearly complete under this 2025 assessment. So that's really, I think that's a good spot to be. You might think, and I was asking myself, are we looking for 90 or 100%? Or is something less than 85% even acceptable? So it's something I think as a team we're still looking at, but we want to set work plan goals that have some flexibility, I think, that are really challenging to staff, impactful with the results, but we don't want to be so rigid that if you do not complete all of these 195, like something's wrong. So we want to be both, far-reaching and realistic about results at the same time. And then as you get into implementing the work, priorities change. Some items take a lot more time but have higher priorities, and so the lower priority work plan goals, they're going to lag a little bit. But overall, I think really tremendously proud of all that was accomplished in 2025 with the work plan goals, exhibiting that work, the board, the leadership team, and our staff getting some really great work done, and really wanted to take this time to thank all of our staff who worked hard and worked together to deliver tangible results and forward our high-performance public water utility. And on the last slide, just wanted to revisit the planning process and next steps and a look ahead. Talked about the vision, mission, core values, the strategic goals and objectives. I reviewed the 195 work plan goals developed for 12-month periods, mid-year, end-of-year assessments reporting out every 6 months, and a constant process to revise, update, and expand the work plan goals. So I've got a little equation down here. In 2025, we're ultimately working on 195 goals. 47 of those were taken off the list because they've been completed or consolidated. That leaves us with 148. But also we've identified 33 new work plan goals to work on for 2026. So right now we're working on 181 work plan goals, all as part of a continuous improvement and achievement process. And finally, in terms of strategic plan updates, as I said, the board approved the strategic plan, turned this over to staff in early 2024. The board may want to consider another look at this, revisit this in early 2027 perhaps. But with that, that's my presentation. Be happy to take any questions or comments.
Well, if I may, first and foremost, I am very impressed with what this agency has been able to do. As a board member, I'm very proud to have to speak on how much work that we're just a water district and we're doing so much public outreach, the HR, the engineering, our finances. John, you and your team should be very proud, and I know you expressed it already, but I am proud just to see, and Creek on the last page. I mean, that's like the cherry on top. But I just want to say how impressed I am with what this team has able to do and accomplish in such a very short amount of time. And even though you say it's 181, I'm looking at with that additional 33 that you're over like 227 or something like that, besides the one. But again,
Cumulative?
yeah, so proud to read this. You can't make all the targets 100%, but even what you have achieved, 85% of what you wanted to do, that's impressive. So that's the comment I wanted to make too. But thank you for allowing me to read this and share this with the general public.
Yeah, it's a great team you have here.
Angie? Angie?
Okay, yeah, I do have a, do you want to go?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so, I guess my question is that there's some that were not achieved, and I can't think of, or I understand that not everything can be achieved, but I'm wondering if you're using those matrices where for those that weren't achieved, whether they need additional assistance or they need more staff to meet those work plans, because I do see that some of them are being in one certain area of the district, and just wondering, are those going to be a continuous effort to get it to 100% complete? I don't want to beat it. I guess what I'm saying is some are not achievable, and is it because of lack of staff or lack of resources? Because it doesn't look good when you have a 2 or 3 there, but maybe it's for other reasons.
Yeah, there's I would say there could be a number of reasons. Some of the goals when they were developed, as we got into working on those goals, it seemed like this isn't really wasn't going to be an effective use of our time, or something else replaced it that was higher priority, and it wasn't really a very significant goal to really grind out. Relative to a lot of other goals that took the priority essentially. So I'd say that was one group. There's maybe another group that probably was lacking in resourcing. Some of these are, we're looking for, training and customer feedback surveys on the phone and otherwise, for example, in customer service. And 2025 was a challenging year in customer service. We're already starting to rebound. We just hired the new customer service supervisor today. And so we were without a supervisor all of 2025.
Yeah, and
So that did have some impacts on our work plan goals.
And that's what I would like to see, where they're being where the work plans are not being achieved, what is the goal for achieving it the next fiscal year?
Mhm.
Because then, I mean, if there's a problem that you have identified, what's the remedy to get it to be at 100% the following year? You know, you always want to ensure that a certain department has all its resources so it achieves all its goals.
Right.
And so that's just what I want to make sure, that when you identify that there's gaps in meeting the goals, what are we doing to achieve it the following fiscal year?
Got you. Yeah, good point.
I noticed you mentioned the most concerning was compliance and regulatory. How are we in that department, or is that more suited for Joanne? But as far as compliance, we maintain them.
Well, we've had, full compliance. We've met all standards for 2025. I mean, there's a lot of work. I mean, massive amount of work that goes into that, both on a day-to-day basis, but also for Joanne and others. She's got to be looking ahead. Looking at our well test, for example, and looking at where federal and state regulations are coming in at. The PFAS we've heard a lot about. So, kind of looking at where the regulations are, kind of staying in touch with, for example, what the state's going to do with PFAS, for example, and then looking at our system and seeing where we're vulnerable. And then if we're vulnerable, start working ahead on that. Don't wait till it's a problem. Don't wait until we're out of compliance. Then it becomes an emergency project, and all of a sudden we got to build a treatment system. So a lot of this is just how our day-to-day business, our water quality folks, our water treatment and production operators, just doing a great job, working together with Joanne and others and our cross-connection team, for example, to stay in compliance. So when a regulation comes down, it gives you a certain amount of time to comply. So if you have the right kind of agency, if you're staffed and resourced correctly, you're going to be meeting those regulations when the January 1st hits and the regulations are in effect. You're going to be in compliance, and that's one of the things we did with the Cross Connection program. I think we developed the first one in our district, was West Valley. We're the first one to develop the Cross Connection program. Immediately start implementing that. We actually developed a plan to visit all of our customers every 5 years in compliance with the plan that we produced ourselves. Ultimately, the state came back and said, you can take 10 years to do all that. So that to me showed what this district and Joanne, for example, just how proactive she was in seeing those future regulations, working ahead to be ready for them, and being really proactive. So does that kind of answer some of your questions and thoughts relative to that,
Yes, I was
that
just
item? Yeah.
Curious about the compliance. But something on the side project, how often are the valves examined, inspected, or changed? Or is it only when there's damage, visible damage, or just?
I believe we're on a 5-year rotation to visit at least every valve once. Two valve crews are going out every day to test valves, operate valves, identify problem valves, identify valves that need to be replaced.
I was just, I had an experience with the other water agency with a church, and it was opened up, and it had to be maybe 50 years, 60 years that the valve haven't been changed,
Yeah.
and there was leakage that you weren't able to visually see, and that led to some other issues, but I was just curious to know how.
Yeah, we've, I think this is the best valve program that I've ever seen. And
we have our valves identified as critical valves, priority valves, and other valves. So we strategically try and reach the more critical ones, which would be at our pump stations and our reservoirs. And our priority valves, obviously, those would be our fire hydrant valves. We have two-man crews that go out every day. We have one in the north and one in the south. And we have, I'm trying to count here, I have a list. We have I think over 2,000 that were done annually. But we continually go by grid to make sure we're reaching all those valves, like you say, that haven't been touched in years. So, yes.
Tracking all that in our GIS system. So we have over 8,000 valves. So I think you'll find some agencies that don't have a proactive program. They'll wait till there's a problem and then go out there. What I've also seen a lot over the years, over the decades, is a valve will get closed as part of a water shutdown or a construction project. It won't get tracked and it'll get left closed. And then a fire will happen down the street and all of a sudden you're like, why is there no fire flow? And you're like, oh, this valve's been closed for like 12 years. So we've got a great valve program here, actually excellent fire hydrant testing program here as well. Again, it costs money, it's proactive, it's doing the right thing for our community, frankly. I think there's cheaper ways to do it, but not better ways.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, it's a great report. One thing I like is that even if there's a 1 or a 2, we are looking at those things, so they're in your face.
It's on the
So
radar. Yeah.
that's a huge plus. And it gives us something to focus on to bring to the next level. So next time we talk about it, the 2s will be 3s and the 3s will be 4s and those and so on. But I love that it's here and it's recorded where we are with some explanation. So thank you guys. That's a great job. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any other questions for this subject? Okay. I think we adopt the consent calendar.
I want to make a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented.
I'll second that motion.
Carl?
Director Bennett,
Yes.
Director Jenkins, Director Young,
Yes.
Vice President Garcia,
Yes.
and President Moore.
Yes.
Passes.
Okay. On the business matters. Who's report? That's you for the senior accountant position. Okay.
Okay, good evening, Honorable President, Vice President, and Directors. Tonight, we're bringing forward the proposed senior accountant position for the board's consideration. This item has been discussed with the HR committee, and after the accountant position became vacant last year, the CFO conducted a full assessment of the accounting division's workload, structure, and long-term needs. That review made it clear from a higher level accounting role that can take on more complex financial responsibilities while also creating a clear path for internal advancement. Adding a senior accountant strengthens our succession planning by establishing a defined progression within the accounting series, which helps us retain institutional knowledge and reduce vulnerability when key positions turn over. It also supports employee retention by offering visible opportunities for growth and development, something that is increasingly important in today's labor market. Operationally, this position will enhance our capacity to manage audits, financial reporting, and analytical work, improving overall efficiency and ensuring we continue to meet our financial obligations accurately and on time. The fiscal impact is minimal as the position replaces the previously budgeted accountant role. Staff also needs to explain and clarify an oversight that occurred in the designation of the position as non-exempt. Under the Fair Labor Standards A, to qualify as an exempt position, it must meet both the salary basis test and the duties test. And this position meets both. The position is compensated on a salary basis, which exceeds the threshold that has been established by the FLSA at $684 per week, or $35,568 annually. The duties test for the senior accountant performs advanced professional accounting and financial analysis, which includes leading and performing complex accounting tasks, preparing and analyzing financial reports and budgets, exercising discretion, and providing technical assistance to management. These responsibilities align with the administrative exemption. The duties are primarily intellectual and require the consistent exercise of discretion and judgment. Based on the salary and duties analysis, the senior accountant position meets the criteria to be designated as exempt, so the job description has been updated to reflect this classification. For these reasons, staff is recommending to approve the creation of a full-time senior accountant with the designation of exempt and adopt the proposed salary for the new position as outlined in the updated salary schedule, again designated as exempt. That concludes my report.
And then board, I have provided you the update with the 2 handouts with reflecting the exempt.
What was the salary again?
The salary has been designated at range number 135, which has a minimum of $95,347 and a maximum of $134,722.
I have a question, and I think this is for our CFO. Would that attract the desirable qualification, with that pay scale, the desirable certification of a CPA?
Yes.
It will? Okay.
Yes. As Haiti mentioned earlier, it would create a better career path for any accountant, where previously we lost a good accountant because there was no progression in that series. And we obviously we want to see our staff grow, but we also want to try to keep them within the district. And this really allows that, having that series of accountant, senior accountant. Not only that, but it also concentrates on the audit, financial reporting, lowering the load of the financial managers, where they could actually have the opportunity to really focus on managing the department more efficiently.
If you had a prospector or an individual who applies who have the master's with the CPA, do they start at the bottom of the range or do they go to the top?
So the way we assess the application of the salary is based on experience and their current salary. So what a person does, we do the offer letter, and if the offer entice the individual, they have negotiation opportunities. So at that point, we negotiate the salary, and wherever we deem collectively where they land is where we secure. So for example, a person that has a lot of experience in a certain area, and it's important to the district because there's positions that are very hard to fill, we will do everything we can to secure them because it's very hard to fill that position. So we may place them at the top of the range. But if it's an entry-level position where it's very limited in terms of the experience that's required, then we try to bring them in at the lowest salary range. And the reason for that is we don't want to disturb the morale of your current employees when you bring entry-level employees at a higher level. So there's a lot of things that we consider when we are going through the hiring process, including the salary consideration.
Thank you for that.
I have one more question. I know you guys did your research and everything, but I had a couple questions. The one question is, it's a senior accountant, and if you look under distinguishing characteristics, it looks like it says he doesn't have any other staff. It's just that person, right? Is that managing anybody or giving directions to anybody?
Right. He's not, they're not supervising anyone.
So when we go into, help me with this one, under essential functions, the first one says leads and participates in a variety of complex accounting and finance related activities, trains and provides work direction and work coordination and guidance to the staff. So help me understand that better.
So when a person is designated to guide, they're not necessarily supervising, they're just providing them peer guidance. Supervision would be where we're tasking the individual to do performance evaluations, evaluate their daily functions. That is not designated in this job description. It's more guiding and helping lower level staff in the lower level designations.
Okay, I hear what you're saying, but it says it doesn't regularly lead other staff on that first part, on that under distinguishing characteristics.
Mm-hmm.
But then it says we do lead. So I'm just, and I hear what you're saying.
I think I know what
think
you're saying. Maybe we
The
should,
wordsmith it a little differently, maybe, I don't know.
yeah,
Well, legal can help us with that probably.
let me just, before
Yeah.
we get you involved. I think if there's somewhere in there that we can put that's a non-supervisory position and acts as a senior consultant, that may, I don't know, it's just to distinguish that, because it's correct, when President Moore mentioned that, assigned staff and reviews, it looks like he has staff assigned under him, under this, being a senior.
If you look at the second sentence under the bullet point,
I don't see that.
under leads and participates, the second bullet point, it just kind of, it's not clear.
I feel like we could take another look at that.
Yeah.
We can, I don't know if, we've talked to Karen on this specifically, but we can clean it up based on board comments.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
Right,
Okay.
so that would be the actual direction that you're giving to staff in regard to the language in the job description, but in terms of the action being requested, it would still be the same to authorize the creation of the full-time senior accountant and to adopt the proposed salary range.
Yes.
Well, then I'd like to make a motion, knowing the Triple Crown Financial Department we have here at West Valley, that we approve their request for the position of a senior accountant as proposed, with whatever modification they may have to do.
Second? I'll second it. I'm not gonna second it. You gonna
I'll
second
second.
it? All right.
For the motion,
I
Direct-
motion, yeah.
that's correct. Director Bennett,
Yes.
Director Jenkins,
Yes.
Vice President Garcia,
Yes.
Director Young,
Yes.
and President Moore.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. Thank you. Next, we have 2026 Fontana State of the City.
Good evening, President Moore, Board of Directors. This evening, I am bringing to the board the Fontana Chamber will host the annual Fontana State of the City on Thursday, February 19th. This event brings together local elected officials, community leaders, business partners, and organizations for the annual State of the City. With a sponsorship policy in place, tonight I am bringing different options for sponsorship levels. Sponsorships will include a district with increased visibility in the community, networking opportunities with regional leaders and partner agencies. The cost of sponsorship varies by level in Exhibit A in your staff report. Staff has reviewed the budget and confirmed funding is available under the sponsorship. And let's see. And so with that, I'm here tonight for the board to review and provide direction to staff whether a sponsorship is desired by the board, and if so, at what level. For historical context, in the past, we have sponsored the $3,000 level, which is $2,500 in monetary contributions with a water donation.
Okay. Discuss.
I'm
Any
will,
thoughts?
well, it's always such a great event when we go to the State of the City. We all go and we see all the good things that are happening with the city of Fontana. And so I want to continue to be a sponsor. And this year I would like to increase it to the gold level of $5,000.
I think that's reasonable.
As well.
You said 5,000?
5,000, gold standard.
That's a tough one. You want to double it?
That's not double.
No.
We're getting 2,500. Yeah.
No, last year we
Three.
did silver.
We did silver, so $2,500 in monetary, including a water donation of 20 cases.
Oh, okay.
So that would equal, that's how they consider the silver package.
Okay.
Silver sounds fine to me.
I'd like to go for gold.
You want to make a motion?
It's a good program. Let's make a motion.
Well, I make a motion to continue the contributions that we make for the 2026 Fontana State of the City at the gold level.
Not a question though. So is that all cash, or we do the cash monetary and then we do the water? Are we gonna do offset the same way or no?
We can work with the chamber on it. I would have to, at that point,
That's what I asked.
we can.
That's a good question,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I asked.
I wouldn't want to see that dollar amount plus water per se,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
because, we have other cities that are just as equally important to us, other big events that happen. I'm not trying to throw away the people's money by no means.
So maybe the motion could be to not exceed, if it's with water, to not exceed the gold of 5,000.
Okay.
Well, I think there are three options: diamond, platinum, and gold.
No, there's
So-
silver, bronze, and
Okay.
well, so 6 total.
All right, but I mean,
Yeah.
not to exceed 5,000.
Well, what I'm saying is the water
That's
should
the-
include the 5,000 if they choose to get water.
So within, it said monetary and water, that would equal the 5,000.
Yes.
Okay,
That-
so then Socorro can work on whether
Yeah.
on how to balance that out.
Yeah.
If that's indeed an option. They may just want the 5,000, but
Yeah, they might want the 5,000,
Yeah.
but
I don't.
right now in inventory as well, water-wise, I could probably only give them about 40 cases.
Okay.
But if it's an option, you'll look into it.
Yeah.
How many cases did you do in the past?
20.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay.
So I made the motion to go for gold and not to exceed 5,000, without including the water.
I'll second that motion.
And Ms. Cara?
All right, for the motion, Director Bennett,
Yes.
Director Jenkins,
Yes.
Director Young,
Yes.
Vice President Garcia,
Yes.
and President Moore.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right.
I think I'm still up for the next one.
All righty. Legislative principles.
So good evening, President Moore, Board of Directors. So West Valley Water District's legislative principles serve as a foundation for the district's state and federal advocacy efforts throughout the 2025 legislative year, guiding engagement with policymakers and stakeholders in Sacramento and Washington, D.C. and ensuring alignment with the district's mission to provide high quality and reliable water service at a reasonable cost to ratepayers. With the support and guidance of the board of directors, the principals provided staff with a clear framework for evaluating and responding to legislative and regulatory proposals, enabling coordinated, timely, and effective one-voice approach in collaboration with the district's state and federal lobbyists and industry partners such as ACWA, CSDA, and CMUA. These guiding principles were instrumental in supporting a successful advocacy program in 2025, which was recognized with the ACWA Region 9 Award and the ACWA Overall Outreach Award, and help ensure advocacy positions remain consistent, strategic, and in line with industry best practices. Staff since has worked with across internal departments to review and refine the legislative principles to reflect operational needs and broader district goals, with proposed updates including, so 2 additions were added this year: support for legislation and state guidance under the Making Conservation of California Way of Life framework, emphasizing clear implementing the urban water use objectives, and advancing legislation that improves community protection through enhanced fire resilience and preparedness for extreme weather conditions. Oh, I thought I had 2 slides up there. So this evening, with those 2 additions, we're asking the board of directors to approve the 2026 legislative principles.
Well, I saw the comments or the changes that we made in the legislative priorities under water use efficiency and advancing district initiatives, and I'm in agreement with those changes. Does anybody else have any comments with the legislative principles?
Nope. I'd like to motion that we approve the 2026 legislative principles.
We have a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
Director Bennett,
Yes.
Director Jenkins,
Yes.
Director Young,
Yes.
Vice President Garcia,
Yes.
President Moore.
Yes.
Motion passes.
We want you to continue to get awards for the district. Thank you.
Okay. Now we're on to board reports, board committee reports. Let's start.
All right, I can start. I'll start with finance. We spoke about the grants program. The district received about $130,000 from the electrical vehicle dump truck. The district's in-house grants team continues to work together and work with our federal state lobbyists, Valley District, and other partners to identify and pursue additional grant opportunities. The mid-year budget, staff is realizing that the mid-year budget and will be staff is finalizing the mid-year budget, and we will be bringing that in the next committee meeting and then to the board. Staff is also implementing a new water rates, which will be showing up in the February bills for the water services provided in January. Additionally, we have reviewed the regular monthly reports, which were on tonight's consent calendar. And that's the end of finance.
All right. Next.
I could also bring up safety technology, I guess.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll bring up safety and technology with the President Moore here. We had site security alarms. We have a new access and alarm systems, which are now being installed and implemented here at the headquarters. That's also in use. Our ERNIE meeting, which was discussed by the general manager, seemed like a big success. Too bad we didn't have a photo of that, because I did see a photo with the group inside this very room, which was impressive. The ERNIE, which is the district hosted the Emergency Response Network of the Inland Empire meeting. About 20 representatives from the area agencies participated to exchange best practices and discuss emerging cyber security challenges. Additionally, the boardroom AV system, staff is working to improve our live meetings experience and reduce technical issues that we had a couple weeks ago, as an example. They recently met with the audio technician to evaluate the sound system and help diagnose different issues. Staff is also looking at various upgrades to the boardroom systems as well. SCADA master plan. The SCADA master plan is progressing well. Staff expects to see a draft plan in late March. And succession planning. FYI, John Stevenson will be retiring at the end of this year. Very sad news. And we will be working with Linda and John on a job description, update, and recruitment schedule. We would like to have at least 2 months overlap with the new IT director to facilitate an orderly transition. And obviously, it goes without saying, we wish John the very, very best. And because Director Young is probably sick, he doesn't want to discuss much. I'll go into policy, finally. The committee received updates and discussed legislative principles. We received discussions and approved these for placement on tonight's agenda, which was approved. Board policies and procedures. The committee continues to work with staff on potential updates and improvements to the board procedures and policies. We have also worked with legal counsel on some of the sections. We have made good progress and are planning to bring options and recommendations to a board workshop to be scheduled in the next month or so. That's the end of all my committees.
Thank you, Dan.
On the HR committee, we discussed some of the things we spoke about this evening, those being senior account position, and we discussed some of the recruitment policies.
Okay. All right. Any board member reports? Any other reports?
I do want to report that last month, I met with the board member from the Fontana Unified with Socorro, and we talked about how we need to continue the discussion about having the after-school program with the regional occupation program and the summer internship program. So we're going to start moving that along now, and we're going to have further discussions this week. Because we want to continue this educational program and start preparing for the summer. So I just want to mention that we are working with the Fontana Unified, and then we'll be bringing in Rialto to make sure that we're all on the same, working on the same program and discussions.
Yeah, ironically, while Director Garcia was working with Fontana, pretty much the same day, I was meeting with Rialto, and they're ready to go. So we're going to see a lot more activity, a lot more movement in the unified school districts to get the shadowing programs going, the water technology taught in schools. All those things are going to come into fruition, I think, really soon. So I'm excited about it, and can't wait to see how it's going to go. So we'll keep you guys informed. Oh, Esteban, you had this is board report, board
We were in Sacramento this past week, and I think it was a staff and board, and Socorro did a good job in delivering the message to the legislators. I request possibly next time we go that we limit the space and time for just our staff and not relatives of the lobbyist team.
Noted. Okay. Yeah, the Sacramento trip was quite productive. It went really well. It's well received. The literature, presentations, swag bags, they were all on hit. Thank you. And we got to meet with Eloise on the floor, and that was pretty cool. And Mr. Garcia as well. We still need to catch Ramos. I'd like to see if we can catch him out here, and still meet with him. But it was a great trip. And that was the first flight of Southwest having assigned seats. That was the first. That was the day that started on the way home, and it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. All right. Manager, John.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Got some updates starting with staffing and recruitments. senior accountant we talked about tonight, with the board's approval, we will proceed with the recruitment. For GIS technician, our first interviews are scheduled on February 18th with 13 external candidates and 2 internal candidates. Eisenhower field assistants interviews scheduled February 25th with 16 candidates. We'll be making 2 selections out of that group. Customer service supervisor, I mentioned a little bit before. We had interviews earlier this week and are happy to announce that our own current customer service lead, Maria Muro, has been selected as our new customer service supervisor. So congratulations to Maria. Doing a great job, and she'll be great in this new position, I'm sure. Then finally, for customer service lead, with her move to supervisor, that position will become available. Also wanted to mention our staff recognition program. I brought this up as one of our work plan goals. And as announced at our all-hands meeting on Tuesday, the January Employee of the Month was Aaron Hillman, doing a great job as Water Production Operator 3. And just wanted this Employee of the Month process, we developed a format, but it's our staff, it's their co-workers that fill out the nomination and bring their name forward for consideration to an internal committee. So it's driven by staff, for staff, by staff. But on Tuesday at the All Hands, the 2025 Employee of the Year was voted on by all of our staff there right during the meeting. And our Employee of the Year for 2025 is Jesse Becerra, Water Quality Specialist. Congratulations to him. That's quite an honor. And our Team of the Year was, not surprising maybe, Team POGA. Public Outreach Government Affairs. Certainly been, what's one more award? Right? It's been really quite an amazing year. Lots of new and creative public outreach, a massively successful Prop 218 outreach program, and numerous regional and statewide awards, etc. So really great work. Congratulations to all of our award recipients. And in other news, the San Bernardino County 5th District announced their 2026 Black History Month honorees. Per the press release, in recognition of Black History Month 2026, Vice Chair and 5th District Supervisor Joe Baca Jr. is proud to honor 6 outstanding community leaders whose dedication, service, and leadership have made a lasting impact throughout the 5th District and throughout the county. And one of these 6 was our own President Moore. So per that press release, it says, Kelvin Moore is a longtime Rialto resident and community leader with a diverse career spanning healthcare, finance, faith-based service, and public service. Currently serving as a Department of Behavioral Health Commissioner and a member of the West Valley Water District Board of Directors, Mr. Moore has also held leadership roles in transportation, community outreach, and nonprofit advocacy. As community services pastor at Loveland Church, he oversees programs that provide housing stability and food assistance, reflecting his deep commitment to serving residents with compassion and purpose. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
And I have one final thing for some thoughts and direction of the board. That's in regards to the quarterly board report. So we're currently developing, and this falls heavily on the POGA team, but we're developing quarterly board reports. It highlights progress across the district and connects all those efforts to the strategic plan as well. And developing this report is quite an effort. Just some thoughts from the board on changing this from a quarterly report to a semi-annual board report. It would come out mid-year and then end of year, and it would really kind of connect and correspond with the same schedule as the strategic plan reporting. So just thoughts on this, and if the board has comments or they'd like to think about it for a while, just wanted to bring this up. Any thoughts on moving to twice a year?
I think you guys run the operation. We're just here to support you. If you think that would be better, that's fine. That's fine if it's easier for you. Your website is updated. If you want to see something, we can probably see it on there. So I have no problem with it. I support it.
If you think it's better than semi-annual, I mean, we'll still get the same amount, and if there's anything critical, then you just share it with us.
For sure.
When necessary.
Yeah, we're doing these reports really specifically for board communication and information and reference. So as long as it meets the board's needs, I mean, we'll produce reports as often as you'd like to see them. But it seems like doing these twice a year would be effective.
Okay. We gotta take a vote on that, Jeff, or no? Okay. Go for it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
That's all for me.
Okay.
Thanks for the time.
All right. Public outreach?
Actually, from your favorite lawyer.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
Let's not skip a section.
We had talked earlier about public
Yeah.
Records Act responses and requests, and how your staff works very well to get those out on time. And our firm has a department that helps paralegals that help our clients to respond to public requests, and they can be quite voluminous from time to time. In a recent case, it was the Gilroy versus the Superior Court. It dealt with the issue of getting attorney's fees for those who bring a public records request that they feel has not been responded to sufficiently. So what the law provides is that if a public agency receives a request and they do not respond and to produce the records that are non-exempt, that a requester can go to court to seek a declaratory relief that more records need to be disclosed. And if the court rules that yes, there are more records to be disclosed, then the attorney representing that requester can receive his attorney's fees. In this Gilroy case, it dealt with a situation where it was not an issue of whether the records were ultimately produced prior to the litigation. The question was whether or not the city had been as responsive and cooperative as possible prior to disclosure of the records. And it was not a case where the city was trying to be obstructive. They were going through the list of exemptions that may apply to body cam footage in this particular case. The trial court had ruled that, well, they really should have disclosed more of this body cam footage earlier. And yes, they ended up doing it later, but that in order to incentivize public agencies to be as cooperative as possible, a requester can still bring a lawsuit claiming that there's not been that level of cooperation, and if they win that kind of case, they can also get their attorney's fees. So it's really a change, an expansion of what a requester can get in court if they go to court. It used to be only if there are records that are disclosed that were not previously disclosed. Now it can go to also the level of cooperation brought by the public agency at the time of the request. Fortunately for your district, we have a good record of responding to requests on time. We work with staff from a legal point of view to make sure that those requests are get out as quickly as possible. Just by way of background, once a request comes in, there's 10 days to respond to that request. You can add 14 days onto that if you need to search other records or there's a large volume of records to go through. And then after that is decided and you get back to the requester, then you have to roll out those records in a reasonably efficient period of time. So, there are levels of cooperation, there are levels of disclosures to the requester. There are records that are exempt from disclosure, and obviously we go through that analysis if necessary. But this kind of adds to the responsibilities of public agencies to be sure that they identify and respond to Public Records Act requests in an efficient manner. So that's all I have, Mr. President.
Okay. Thank you. Government Affairs and Public Outreach. POGA.
Good evening. Just want a reminder that this Saturday, the West Valley Water District will be having a booth at Kessler Park for Supervisor Joe Baca Jr.'s Kite Day. The event's from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. On the education front, as mentioned, we have been working with the school districts on talking about education programs. One of them is we've talked about Earth Day changing to STEM Day. We are working with Bloomington High School, Rialto Unified School District, and continue the conversations with Fontana Unified. We're looking at having STEM Day on Friday, April 10, 2026. And that would be with high school students, similar to the Earth Day we've done in the Earth Day we did last year with the second graders, but more focus on high school students with STEM Day. And that is my update today.
Also, before we leave, there is the state of the city of Fontana on February 19th, which is usually a board day, board meeting day.
Correct, President. That was something I was going to bring up under my report.
Okay.
Since there is a conflict.
Yes.
It'll be, I believe, at the discretion of the board and also the GM, whether or not we were to cancel that meeting and then have the next regular board meeting March 5th, or we could do a reschedule and have a special on the 17th if needed.
From a staff standpoint, we discussed this a little bit on Tuesday. Staff doesn't have an urgent need to have a second meeting in February. Like, we could wait till the first meeting in March for our district business.
I'm okay with not having a second board meeting in March.
You
I
mean
mean,
February?
February. Sorry about that.
I'm okay with that too.
Likewise.
So without objection, the board clerk will post the notice of cancellation.
All right. Thank you.
Perfect.
Okay. Board Secretary, it's up to you.
I will post that notice of cancellation. So the next board meeting for the Board of Directors will be March 5th.
Okay.
Okay.
And you're up for report.
We just have a lot of committees, and I want to thank the board for being so flexible and doing their time with the committees and flexing their time. I think we only have one committee this month that was meeting on time. So thank you very much. I have all the agendas out for next week for either on your desk or they've been sent out. And I don't really have anything else. So thank you guys.
I do want to say that you hit the road running. You've been really busy and making sure that we're getting our schedules and doing what you can to get us to call you back. So just thank you for that and for your patience.
Yeah, I like to acknowledge on how difficult it is managing us five and getting things together, because it's a lot for one person to handle. But I'd also like to acknowledge Paola for such a wonderful job she's done when she was standing in as well.
Yes.
It's as a young mother, it's probably very stressful.
Well, I thank you for how you herd the cats all together. It's a good thing. Thank you. And I think, is there anything else before I adjourn? Good? This meeting is adjourned. You did good.
Today is Paula's birthday.
Oh,
Deserved a day off.
yeah.
Going Wednesday.